You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show.
Such a fun
I wish I
way.
could whistle to the song.
That's pretty good.
I don't know the rhythm of this song though.
I mean, it doesn't feel like Tuesday without our little sing-along. It just doesn't.
No. It doesn't feel like a good day without song.
No, it doesn't. And Glee is a perfect way to get all into the songs. Well, obviously, this is another Glee after show for you all. It is season 5, episode 17, opening night, and it is Rachel's big night tonight. She, of course, takes on the role of Fanny in Funny Girl. And I'm Stephanie Wenger.
I'm Roxy Striar.
I'm Sarah Mendoza. And I'm Marisa Serafini.
What did you guys think tonight? Did you like the episode? Was it what you were anticipating?
Yes, this is actually one of my favorite episodes in a long, not in a long time, but it was one of my favorite episodes, period. It was so Broadway focused, and if you guys know me, I am a Broadway freak. My dog's name is Broadway.
Oh, really? That's so cute.
Fun fact. So I felt most at home, I guess, with this episode.
I agree. It was really, I love the whole build up for this episode. We had the whole season and even maybe end of last season, but the whole build up to this episode and then everyone getting back together for this was a great get together, great fun, and just seeing Rachel perform a performance that she's always wanted to do her entire life. It was fun to witness that.
Yeah, I thought it was really strong. We had 5 songs tonight. I actually loved them all. There was not one that I was like, ooh, why'd they pick that? I enjoyed it. I was glad that nobody fell completely on their face, and it felt very Glee-esque.
It did, and it was so nice to see Rachel succeed. I know last week we predicted maybe an issue that she wouldn't necessarily, be the Broadway success, and it might change in the next few weeks. We saw previews for the next episode that looks like she might not permanently be a success, but it was nice to see her have that moment of getting her dream. I really, really appreciated that because I feel like sometimes Glee doesn't pay off in the way you necessarily want, and tonight it really did feel like the payoff we've been waiting for all season.
Yeah, I do feel as if she's earned it, and even if it is just one night, everybody kind of deserves that night, so
Yeah.
It's cool to see her get it.
And she worked hard for it too. So even if maybe other people might not enjoy it, she enjoyed it herself, and her friends and family enjoyed it. So that was really a win for her.
Yeah, it's always one of my favorite episodes when the entire Glee cast kind of comes together and supports someone. And I feel like we've been getting a lot of those in the last few weeks. We've talked about after the hiatus, it's been a different show, and they've done a lot of that rallying behind someone, and I think that that's really nice to see.
And in leading up to her opening night performance, I think they did a lot of cute things with, the nightmares that she was having in the beginning of the episode. So it's not, smooth sailing for Rachel the whole time. Like, we kind of remember her struggle, and like we think about her as this girl who's developed over the years, and it's naturally going to be a nerve-wracking moment, nerve-wracking episode for her, and we still felt that tonight, and it was even that more climactic, I guess you could say, when she did knock it out of the park.
You talk about the opening with the nightmares, and I just was sitting there thinking, like, how does somebody come up with this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does this writer's room look like? And they're like, ooh, let's bring back all the old bullies and bring it in together with this song and have all these nice. It's just like so creative and different. I thought it was really cool and a great way to open the episode.
I thought it was fun because dreams can be that chaotic and crazy, and just having her roots, the subconscious, go back to McKinley because that's where she started off, and now she's on Broadway, and all the people that have influenced her throughout the years, and having that come back and haunt you in a way, shows the ways that she overcame everything and how she came out on top. And it was really fun. It kind of makes me think maybe they went, the writers or producers or anything. I just wonder if they ever went up to Leah and be like, "What was your craziest dream about?" Before you go up for a big performance, what have you ever dreamt about?
100%. I did want to see it, like, in that dream sequence of all the awful things that would happen to her. Felt like a slushie. A slushie needed to be there, right? It was the thing that was missing in my Glee cart.
Why are they not giving us the slushie?
We've said that a couple times this season so far. I'm not kidding. We're getting some flashbacks and we're missing the slushy dumpsters. Like, where are they?
Yeah.
I think we should bring some slushies in here one night and Phil, we're going to bring Phil up here into a ceremonial slushie.
I do not want to clean up after that.
I was going to say we could sip our slushies and not throw them at people.
I'm for the latter on that. I think the reasons why we haven't really seen slushies because the people who usually gave them were the football players. And we're away from McKinley, we're away from the players, so now it'd be kind of pointless to have that in.
We did see Karofsky. Why can't I say his name? Karofsky tonight. He could have done some slushying.
Yeah, it could have been from him. That would have been great.
Can we talk about the song during that sequence for a second?
Oh, before we get there, I just wanted to say one comment on when she, you're talking about the song that she does in the performance.
Loveful, yeah.
Loveful.
So, yeah, let's talk about Loveful, actually. To change my mind.
I was just going to say, I thought that kind of added to the weird dream feel.
So weird.
Because the way that song is recorded, she did it very similar to the radio edit, I guess you could call it. It's kind of sounds like you're in a speaker box, which kind of reminds me of like when you're dreaming, everything's kind of in your head and foggy and robotic in a way.
I really liked this. I thought it was an interesting way of kind of having this dream sequence. It just was weird and kind of something that Glee does so well.
Right. When we usually look at Rachel or at Leah Michelle, she has a few faces that we recognize very well. One of them is kind of like the crying. The other one is very profound, you know.
Right.
She has all these different... But this one, the confused, weird, like... strange miscellaneous face I haven't seen on her, or at least not for a long time. And as she was singing and kind of like looking around, just it was a different side of her that I thought after this many seasons maybe we had seen all of the sides.
It was a different side, and also kind of a side that we have already seen before, because even her outfit, she was back into the sweaters.
That was
way
cool. Yeah.
Season 1 Rachel used to be. So her subconscious worrying that she might revert back to the way that she used to be, and again, overcoming all of that stuff that she did. Yeah. But I did enjoy the song, so 90s. I mean, I love the 90s. It was such a fun number that I didn't care about the bizarre, warped things that were going on, because I really enjoyed the whole ride.
Right. It felt like an eeriness in a way to me, the way that it was performed. Just everything melded together to be kind of an eerie feel. The song that they chose, her facial expressions, like what you said, and then the nightmarish scenes that were popping up. It was like off but cool at the same time.
Yeah, and it was also cool that we had her backup singers be all of those guys, because basically it was setting up the episode for the fact that they were her backup singers tonight. You know, they were the people who were standing behind her and helping her out. And obviously I just love hearing them all bop around in the background.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just really cool sounding, and Becky was hysterical, and just I loved it.
I know I often complain about the first number of the night. I'm never or rarely a fan of the first number, but tonight I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a really nice fit, and it went well with the episode.
Yeah. And I think it set the tone for how the rest of the episode was going to go, with the comedic mixed things that are going to be thrown at us. It's just like how we perceive it, and it was comedic overall.
Right.
Yeah. Before Rachel became this success on Broadway, her opening night, you can say success now with the New York Times review, it was interesting that she became so absorbed in all the reviews online and the commentators online of the negative, and like she kind of lived by the good and the bad. She'd be like, for every good review, there's a million bad reviews. She couldn't get out of her head. And I really appreciate that because like I feel like as a performer you often get that way. It can become that. And yes, we'll be talking about things later on. But what I thought was interesting about that was that it was so relatable to the experience that all performers have. And I think even outside of it, you can become so affected by your peers that you can't do the job properly, even in things that are not performance.
Right. Even if you're not a performer, I think it's just it's a natural human thing when you're putting yourself out there in your craft to compare yourself to others. It's like a gauge almost that you're trying to measure yourself up against. Like, am I meeting people's expectations? Am I meeting my own expectations? Am I doing well? You know? Yeah,
and what was so weird was she hasn't even been on the stage yet, and she was already absorbed in the comments, and I just felt like I think everyone can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's important to remember, like, I love cookie dough ice cream. I think it's amazing. I don't understand how somebody could possibly not like it. But there are people out there who just don't like it, you know? Like, people have their own opinions, even on things that I think are delicious and amazing. So even though we all believe Rachel Berry to be very talented, there are going to be people who don't think so.
Right.
And it was unbelievable to me that Santana was the one who was able to pull her out of this and show it to her. I mean, of all the people who kept walking in, I kept thinking, like, which one of them, you know? And then Sue walked in. I was like, is this going to be a weird turn? But that it is Santana. Sometimes, you know, you find salvation or whatever you want to call it in a place that you never thought you would, which is cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's even that more impactful because for something like that to be coming from someone that is not necessarily your friend all the time, I think it holds so much more weight that person was able to put away whatever bad blood was between them to speak what she's saying is the truth about her talent.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's the best from coming from someone who might not have that biased opinion on someone.
Yeah.
That outside source that is going to tell it straight up as it is to your face, and you either have to like it or you don't. And the thing is, Rachel is so used to performing in McKinley, which is such a small pond, and people are going to love her there. But now being in New York, which is so broad and vast, there's so many more opinions that she's singing to, and we can see that freaks her out.
I mean, when you read interviews with people like Leah Michelle, you often hear you kind of have to take the good with the bad. Like, you have to be that, like, strong performer and know the confidence in yourself. And that's what we see her finally get to, is that has the confidence to go on stage and do the job.
Why are you guys all moping around? It's opening night.
Right. Yeah. So true.
But it was a good point you made, Marisa, though, because had Kurt been the one to show her that, you know, it wouldn't be as meaningful because he would tell her she was awesome even if she did suck.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Right.
But when Santana says, you suck at a lot of things, but this isn't one of them, you know?
And I love the way how Santana got her out of it, comparing her with Barbara.
So
And
perfect.
Probably the only person that would help also Rachel get out of her funk.
Yeah.
Right, because even Barbara had haters back in the day.
Right, but it wasn't as helpful to get a forged letter from Barbara. Damn it, Tina!
Oh, Tina,
dropped the A.
misspelling Barbara. Come on.
Did you do this, Tina?
Oh, Tina, she was so trying to be helpful, but just
She's just
wasn't.
clueless sometimes.
Yeah.
She has no idea what the effect of what she's saying.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see Tina like try, because there are a lot of episodes, again, I say that Tina doesn't really get her moments to shine.
Yeah.
And then when she finally gets to speak, and she kind of just had diarrhea of the mouth and just like spurting out all these things, it was comedic, but the way her intentions were all good, and then trying to help Rachel in that way, it was just funny to watch.
Yeah. So let's jump into her songs. We've talked about that she was a success on Broadway, that the New York Times reviewer loved it. But I'm the Greatest Star, which is obviously a song from Funny Girl. I loved this. I thought it was just like her on Broadway and owning the stage.
Yeah, I actually thought at the top of the song, I was like, it came off a little timid. But once Sue got up and walked out, the intensity in her face and everything.
No, that's the right. That's the right one.
Yeah, I'm on the right one.
Oh, okay. I thought
They both sang it, and because it was Sue and Rachel singing this song.
No, Sue and Rachel sang "Who Are You Now"
Who Are You
together.
Now? That
Which
was-
she's talking
I'm talking about
that
when Sue walked out.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yes,
She walked
sorry.
out on the.
And it changed.
Now
It
we're
kind of like
No, yeah, Sue
inspired
walked
her.
out and Rachel's face just got like so intense and was like,
Yeah.
oh,
following
I'm
you
the
now."
greatest star.
Right.
Like, where are you going? And I was like, yeah. So the song for me, I love songs that build like this, because sometimes because she is so talented and her voice is so strong, just from top to end, like there is no peak. It's all just like bam, 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 bam. But this for me, it started a little lower, and then like by the end, we really got there,
Right.
which is cool.
And I agree with you that after Sue walked out, it became that much more powerful, because that's really what this song is about. Like, there's a line that says, "I am the greatest star and nobody knows," and she's just trying to prove herself so
Right.
hard in the lyric of the song. And so for someone who has been sort of against her whole high school and now college life and her success, to see her walking out in the middle of her what's supposed to be her shining moment, where nothing goes wrong, hopefully, it's the same thing. She wants to prove to that person, to Sue, that she's going to be the greatest star regardless of what they think.
I finally like that we got this version of this song from Rachel playing Fanny, because the first time we heard the song was Kurt singing back in season 3 when he was auditioning for West Side Story, and that was when he was like having fun on the scaffolding during his audition. But then actually getting Leah performing Rachel performing Fanny was really great, and seeing her version I enjoyed.
What do you think about the comparison between the two performances, or it's too hard to compare because they're so...
I thought they were so different.
They were different because Kurt's version was very upbeat, fast, all over the place, because he's going up and down on a scaffolding. So the two tones and meanings of this particular number were completely different.
Also, Kurt, if I recall, it was just a much higher, it's not even higher energy, but it's just like he took it and made it his own, where this is the classic way that you would do it on Broadway, the way that Leah or Rachel did tonight.
Very Broadway version.
Yeah.
Rather than show performee.
That being said, Who Are You Now, which is what I was thinking Roxy was referring to, is also a Funny Girl song. And this was my personal favorite of the night. Rachel and, of course, Sue coming in and singing this kind of together, the voices. I just thought specifically Leah Michelle, just an incredible performance by her.
Mm-hmm. Well, even Sue. I mean, who knew? I personally did not know what range Sue has as a singer, and like that, her voice tonight, and then harmonizing with Rachel's. I thought it was so beautiful, and the underlying meaning of that song when they cut to Finn, that was her inspiration.
Yeah.
That was such a beautiful shot of Corey. And at that point, I think I told Steph, I was like, I'm tearing up now.
Yeah.
Like, this is getting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they kind of gave Jane Lynch a hard episode to work with. She doesn't usually have that many songs. She has 2 tonight, and they gave her a love interest that like came full circle. They put a lot on her plate, and she did such an amazing job that it reminded me like, oh yeah, like where has this been? And people being mad at her and her crashing places, and I thought that she did an amazing job. So I do love hearing her in this song, but I will say that I thought that Rachel was doing such a beautiful job that pulling away from her to watch Sue dance with a guy that we don't know was like, I just want to look at Rachel. And that moment, like you're talking about, where we see Finn, that's what moved me. It wasn't moving me to see Sue and Mario. It was moving me to watch Rachel. And when I was talking about Rachel's classic moments, like her faces, this is Exhibit A, with the tear. I thought she was so gorgeous and amazing. I mean, it just kind of
was a classic.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where you're like, oh, this is season 1. This feels big, and it's what Leah Michele does so well.
Right.
And I think this number fit more because we had Sue and Rachel both sing the song at the same time. I felt this number fit more with Rachel's story rather than Sue's. So I would have loved to see, as great as singer Sue is, but I think it would have been, again, Roxy, more, it would have been great had they just isolated Rachel to just singing the song, especially with the shot of Finn, because that made it more meaningful. And then once we saw that shot, I kind of forgot that Sue even sang the song, because it all became Rachel. And she mentioned that Rachel told the audience, even earlier in the episode, is like, if I can get through the song, then I'll be fine. And that's the shot that she was trying to get through. Yeah. And she did, and she came out on top.
I can see that, but to go with that, I like how they ended the song just with Rachel. And that closing moment, which was, so powerful. She's thinking about Finn as she ended, her last note in that song.
Yeah, I like that Glee is not afraid. I don't want to even use the word use, but to use Finn anymore, because we were a little timid about it at first, and I think that he is so alive and prevalent in this show, and we need to see him, and we need to remember him all the time. So it's not off-putting anymore for them to put something like that in, because they're doing it more and more often, and I think that that's important.
Yeah, I think that it also is just like kind of keeping the memory alive, and I think also as a cast and a crew, probably really important and healthy for them to have that be a part of the show in some way. Right. That being said, should we move on to Sue and Mario, who, as we were kind of saying, seemed like a little bit of it was a strange thing to have her come in and have a love interest when we've never really had Sue. She's had love interest, but not in this way, not in the like love at first sight way.
Right, but I do love that they kind
Roxy.
of still made it funny.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't too serious of a love. They, they met scalping tickets.
Yeah.
Or they first noticed each other
True
scalping
story.
tickets.
Right.
And they're both, doing, they're both sarcastic people, and they're kind of like bashing things together, and so it wasn't like a serious romance. It was a fun, weird
but
thing.
it was like the first time we've seen her click with someone.
It was it was an interesting relationship, especially the reason why all of this. I think why they brought Mario into this was to change Sue's perspective on how she thought of New York City.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we see Sue's corner, and then she was not having the best opinion on New York City, and then going to New York, having this love interest fling for a day, kind of just showing her a different side of Sue that we haven't seen. And then maybe her coming around after all that happened, and then her changing her opinions on New York. She does love New York, and she has this newfound feeling.
Right.
I feel like you just have so much to say.
It's kind of the exact opposite. I don't know what to say. I was watching this, I was like, I don't even know what to think right now. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he won't. Maybe this was just so that she could like New York. They sure were goofy. I don't know.
Yeah, they were very goofy. There was something about it that was underlyingly, like, even though they were mean and they were bashing Rachel, there was something that was like kind of sweet about Sue finding someone. I don't know, maybe I'm the only person in the world who thought that, but I was just like, oh, it's sweet.
No, I kind of agree. He says, I like them cruel, delicious, and 100 stories tall. And I'm like, well, then you found your girl.
you got your woman.
I mean, Sue's storyline tonight, as I said, I think was a very difficult one to hand somebody, and she killed it. But we see at the top that she's coming to New York because she had bashed New York, and that she now needs to go, so we'll get her the ticket. She promises to go to the Broadway show. My problem is, it's like, because over the years, yes, Sue has been the big Grinch, but she's also had redeeming moments. So it's not black and white, It's not like she's this horrible person, and I was completely stoked when we told her off, because I was like, yeah, you go, girl, but at the same time, I'm like, I really feel like she does love you guys, and I don't know. It's just kind of bittersweet. So I like that she did have this love interest in this, so that at least she wasn't totally alone, like Rachel kept saying she was gonna be.
You know what was weird was that I was totally fine. I mean, maybe not totally fine, but all right with Rachel telling her off and Rachel standing up for herself. That felt okay. It was the cheering afterwards by everyone else that I was like, ooh, that feels like a little too much. Like it felt like it was overstepping the line of where I wanted that to go. Like having Rachel stand up and be like, maybe not that you're always going to be alone, but that like it's not okay how you've treated us, and like we're just trying to live our dream. Like
she has done some evil things.
Right. And I understand that need, and Rachel's finally living out her dream, and I understand why she would want to stand up to Sue. I totally got to that place. It was the others cheering her on that I was just like, that feels mean. There's like something underlying there.
It's like bullying a bully.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is it just me, but I act as mean as Sue can be, I actually didn't see her storyline staying the way it did. Staying, I don't care about Rachel's show, like this is torture. I thought there was going to be some point in the episode where something was going to turn around. She was going to come back in and enjoy the last performance of Rachel or whatever.
No,
but nothing like that happened.
She got in her cab and left.
Right.
And left the guy too. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I guess what would be her changing would be going back to that's how Sue sees it and saying that she loved New York, putting her foot in her mouth. So that would be her budging a bit, I suppose.
That I also wanted her to go back, and maybe this was just me, but on the local station and just be like, and our own local girl, Rachel Berry, like made it big in New York, like something where she complimented her on the air. Like there had to be something that she gave in a bit.
I doubt that's the last we're gonna see of it, though.
Yeah, I hope we get more of both Matthew Morrison and Jane Lynch.
Yeah, of course. When we're originally going to NYC, of course we have that song. Can we talk about that now?
Yeah, of course.
This for me was, first of all, I love this song, and I love Annie, and I just am obsessed, but this was the most bizarre way to show it, especially when they're actually going to NYC, instead of having them do a whole thing around NYC, to have them on stage with all these like cartoony cardboard things, which is truly bizarre.
See, I thought it was actually fun because if you think about it, Sue has never been to New York, so I think this was her perspective on how she viewed New York and a very Broadway theatrical vision in her head. I thought it was fun having all these random people come in and out. I was like, we just saw the whole Glee production crew right on screen. That was kind of awesome. But I think it was just the way how Sue envisioned it.
Yeah, no.
And it was a fun way to transition into the actual New York location.
I definitely didn't mean bizarre in a bad way. I just meant bizarre and bizarre.
And it also took me back to season 1, where maybe the production wasn't quite as large on Glee, and they had to do things in a smaller way. Right. And so that was fun too. And that was my one comment, was I thought it was kind of bizarre. I agree with you in some ways, but I did appreciate that it was like, in a high school, you don't always get to go out and have these huge, crazy numbers, and it kind of took it back down to a smaller.
Right. And later on we hear Sue talk about how she likes being in that small pond, and this lower budget production of this song would be that small pond.
Good point. I thought it was funny when they finally got to real New York. Like at the end of the song, she's like, "This place smells like barf." Like, of course, she would say something in that
coming
moment.
out of the subway station, kind of felt.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Again, now vocally, her range, like she went pretty. You have to. The vocal range for that song for her was pretty high, and I thought that she delivered it so beautifully.
Jane Lynch continuously, I know she's an amazing singer, but she always wows me.
Yeah, because it's not that often.
Yeah, she always takes on these songs and you're like, that is amazing. Like, she makes it her own. She really does a great job with these numbers.
Yeah, especially like when she's talking in the show, just her character's speaking voice, it's kind of like in the same range, like low, almost monotonous type of tone. So when she's singing and there's much more personality that's happening with her voice. It's so surprising to me in a good way.
And I always enjoy when Sue is performing with Will, because we've seen all these episodes and all these seasons that Sue's always out to get Will. And then when they're actually performing, they have so much fun together. Yeah. And I just love the chemistry when they perform.
Yeah, well, you can tell us what you're thinking, what songs were your favorites tonight, and everything that you think about our after show. You can go on iTunes, rate and comment, or on YouTube. We read all of your comments, and we know that we read everything from last week, and we know that some of you weren't so happy with our after show. So we definitely want to take a minute and just say that, like, if we offended anyone or anything like that, we hope that you understand that was never our intention, and we love hearing from you, and we want to make a show that makes you happy, but we're here to give our opinions, and we love that you give us ours. So I think that that's the main point of what we kind of got from you guys last week.
Absolutely. Although I stand by everything I said, and I'm still not a huge fan of the couple that we were discussing, Sam Sadie's. A lot of it was about people thinking that maybe there were some racist remarks, and I just wanted to clear that up. So as you're saying, if we offended anybody, absolutely was not in our intentions. It just happens on my part to be a lack of chemistry between the characters. So we're sorry if we offended you, but you guys are amazing, and I really appreciate all the support and love and people who were sticking up for us, and even people who have different opinions. That's what it's about.
I mean, that's what our show is all about, is hearing from you guys, and we really want it to be something where everybody's weighing in. So you can always, on our Twitters, Facebooks, whatever, find us. Yeah.
And we are true fans of Glee, and and again, we're not going to love everything. So when it comes to something that we dislike, we just hope that everyone respects our opinion, because we are we're all entitled to our opinions and back that up with reason and rationale. And you guys mentioned that we should go back to season 3 to check out the original episodes of Sam and Mercedes when together. I went back to season 3.
Of course you did.
Of course. And you know what? I did see chemistry there. I'm trying to see it again now because it didn't happen the first time. And I'm still working at it, but hopefully over time we'll grow to love them. But we do love this show, and we respect all of your opinions and comments.
Healthy discussion and debate is always a good thing.
Absolutely. That being said, maybe let's talk about happier news. Will and Emma finally had their baby.
So Daniel Finn Schuster.
Adorable.
Great name.
Yeah, really cute. Yeah. I have to say I'm a little bummed that he missed Rachel's show. Couldn't the baby have waited maybe another hour? But
doesn't that always happen in life? The baby always comes when something else is going on, and you have to step away.
I thought it was really interesting that he said for the first time in his life, though, that he feels truly happy.
Yeah.
And then very interesting that Rachel concurred, especially when everything going on with Finn and whatever. But what did you guys think about the fact that this is the first thing to make him truly happy?
I thought that was really interesting how he said that, because we've seen a lot of things make Will happy, but then having a family and having his loving wife and now a baby in his life is the thing that makes him happy. Maybe that is the thing that he's always wanted in life. I was upset that this did unfortunately coincide with Rachel's opening. My only thing was, if they were going to have the baby, I would have Gemma Mace come back. I know she's busy on another show. Yeah. And she's busy. She's a busy gal.
Right.
But if we're going to have as big as a story as having a pregnancy, having the baby, and now someone new in Will's life, I would actually like to physically see that.
It did feel like a bit of a cop-out, and I know contractually it might be tough to have her there. There are different networks. It's not easy to get that done. So I think they did the best they could with it.
Yeah, the most interesting part about it for me was, so sorry, I'm jumping over the Emma thing because that happened. She wasn't there, and there wasn't really much we could do about it. But I think that it's really interesting how Rachel's person was Finn and Will's person was Finn, and so everything in life kind of after that is bittersweet because you're getting all of these amazing things, but you don't have your person to share it with. So when they both said that it was the happiest that they felt complete happiness, even though Rachel agreed, and even though you can just see something in her face, like, yes, but, you know, and it's always kind of going to be that yes, but, in my opinion.
I feel like there always will be a bittersweet thing with
Right.
something like that. But in a way, maybe they're saying like they feel happy because in their own ways they're paying tribute to the memory
Right.
of Finn with, you know, Will naming, you know, the middle name of his son is Finn. And for Rachel, we all know who she was thinking of in that at her opening night.
And with the necklace, too.
And with the necklace.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting that maybe it's about dreams changing and that, I mean, obviously you're always going to think back to that person, but you can find happiness after tragedy. And that was kind of a part of what I thought Rachel's was about, that she had found some way of being happy that was outside of a relationship where maybe Matthew Morrison, Mr. Shu's character, really needs his family. Like, it's finding different ways of being happy.
Yeah, and it's not just about dreams changing, it's also about life changing. Because life is always changing. No one knows where they're going to really end up. And we see that in Glee every single day, how things are constantly changing because someone isn't there. But the way that life just in general works out for everyone, things are going to change. That vision's going to change.
We see it in Glee once a week, not every single day. Otherwise, we'd be the happiest people in the world. Yes.
Within 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Every single day. Oh, I wish.
Absolutely.
So do I.
Oh my gosh.
And we actually didn't get a chance to talk about Rachel's final song of the night,
Which was
which was
Wait,
Pumping
yeah.
Pumping
Blood.
Blood. We opened our show with it tonight. Our
We
after show.
did, but this was actually another one of my favorites. It was kind of random. Like, I know she was celebrating her big night, but I just liked her dancing around. It felt like a party.
Yeah, it was cool that she didn't want to go with her cast and those, you know, that she wanted to celebrate with her friends. Although, to be honest, if I was a cast member, I'd be very frustrated with that. But as a viewer, I thought it was cool that she wanted to go with her friends and that they took her to some gay strip club type place. I mean, I don't even...
Club in.
Yeah, whatever it was, which was amazing and fabulous. And they performed this song, which kicked butt, and it was a party.
Right.
And I was like, how are you going to perform again? Your voice is going to be shot, girl.
I know. I loved it. It was really fun, but I loved when they went to the club, people recognized her. And they're like, we've been following you for this whole Broadway production. And I loved just even from those people and getting the reaction from her fans right off the bat shows that, okay, people are loving her already, and we haven't even had the review out yet. So Rachel's going to be fine. And then, yes, her partying and clubbing and singing at the top of her lungs. I'm like, don't you usually have another Broadway show performance the very next day?
You know, just maybe.
I mean,
Right.
I think it's cool though, and the dancing was really cool, and everybody was just kind of like
fun.
flailing their arms, and I was like, I could shoot that scene with them. I could flail my
I
arms.
know, right?
You know, most times they do
We'd
things, and
feel
I'm
at
like,
home in that club.
I know most times they dance, and I'm like, oh, I could never do that, but I totally could have been part of this number. I know how to move my arms.
Right.
Yeah.
When she was strutting her stuff like on, you know, across the second floor and everybody was around her, I was like, wow, this is really Rachel's shining moment.
Yeah.
This entire episode I feel like was centering around her success
And
as
it-
a Broadway star.
Yeah, and it also shows how versatile Rachel can be because she just did a whole Broadway performance, and now she's doing this really fun hip-hop pop kind of song.
She
She
looked
can
hot.
go anywhere. She can do any genre and still kill it.
Right.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, I just loved it. I thought I was like bobbing my head along to it while we were watching. I was really, really enjoying it. 100%. Ready for some news and gossip?
Sure.
Yeah.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, as we know, we were just talking about, Leah Michelle is an incredible singer, and we've talked about before on our show that she just put out her first album, and it's
Which is amazing. Go buy it.
it's amazing. And she was shooting a new video for that over the weekend for On My Way, which is a song on the album, and it looks like she was having like a dance party of her own. Like, she was out with a bunch of people and just dancing for this video, so I'm really, really excited to see it. Should be a really fun one from the shots that I saw online.
So another music video that I could dance in?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's totally the case for you.
So that's what you were saying. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Also, Liam,
I'm looking forward to seeing that because is that like the first thing we've seen her perform outside of Glee.
I think that she did one
Other than other Broadway performances that she's done before the show.
I think she's done one more music video before this one for her album. So
I'm looking forward to it because it's her own voice, it's her own music now.
And then we also have Lea Michele was at Coachella, and she was hanging out with Mark Salling, which is always fun to see the Glee cast outside of Glee walls, I guess you can say, hanging out together. And it was a super cute photo of them, like kind of hugging and just like you could tell very happy to be with each other. So
How fun.
really sweet.
I left my heart at Coachella.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like that is the like celebrity couple place that, not that they're a couple. Let me clarify that, not a couple.
Rumor starter.
Yeah, sorry, not that, but it's like the place where celebrities go to hang out, I should say. And we also mentioned in a previous episode that Chris Colfer would be writing for Glee, which is super exciting. And the episode is going to be called Old Dog, New Tricks. And it revolves around Chris Colfer's own character, Kurt. And they seem to be saying that he might be involved in the retirement home production of Peter Pan. So something to...
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love it. I won't grow up. Okay.
And are you ready?
I love Peter Pan.
Are you ready for some real gossip?
Yeah, give me that tea, girl.
So, Naya Rivera and Lea Michele, I feel like this is such a throwback to season 1, like Glee set drama. So they're allegedly not getting along. The girls are at odds over, I guess, being on set at the same time, and they're saying that Naya and Lea are just talking to producers and really are not getting along right now. I hope that's not the case. It feels like it mirrors the show a bit, and I'm just hoping that it's something that's just like stirring the pot a bit.
Here's the thing, you never know this stuff if somebody was having a crappy day or if this is a real thing, you know, like if Naya casually was like, oh, Leah's so annoying today, and somebody heard that and was like, she's trying to get her off the show, you know, like you never know. But I do find, unfortunately, a lot of times there's truth to these things, even if it's the littlest bit. And you got to kind of like stomp out those embers before they make a fire.
Yeah, I was just sad to see that TMZ had this story. I was just like, oh, I want them all to get along and be happy and like hang out together.
It feels just like the Rachel Santana storyline, in a way.
Yeah. Life imitating art, and I think you might have just caught Lea and Naya on a bad day. Maybe it was just that, and media just caught wind of it and ran with it.
I was gonna say, I think the pressure of being on a show like this is definitely can be intense. Of course. Yeah, they do long hours. We've mentioned it before on our show.
And sometimes when you're an actress and you're putting yourself in the character, you kind of become them sometimes.
Right. Yeah, it bleeds into your
life.
Yeah, absolutely. Predictions?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Okay, it's less of a prediction and more of just like a thing that I have to say. I really need some Britney. Like, this is missing Britney for me. I'm especially after that teaser and her saying she's coming back with Santana. Like, I need Britney.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I always love it when the old characters come back. So that's fun. Any other predictions, ladies?
I mean, I think we saw in the preview that Rachel's kind of getting bummed down by bad critics again. And I just hope that's not the case, because she just had an amazing, out of the ballpark performance that she knocked it out of the park. That I hope that just let her have her moment of happiness and not ruin it with one bad critic or anything. Just let her shine for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like my prediction from last week applies now. I feel like the show is kind of teetering. Like, yes, it's a success, but one bad review can bring it down. It feels like even the producer wasn't so, when he was like, in the second act, you need to be amazing. Like, in some ways, that's a pep talk, and in other ways, that's terrible, because it doesn't sound like
scary.
He has faith in his own show. And so that's concerning for sure for the future.
It sounds like with the success of the show, she's gonna have other deals and offers coming up, and maybe radio.
Yeah.
But along with that, we saw that little preview. There's going to be a whole new set of pressures that comes with that.
Yeah. Also, maybe going back to Madame Thibodeau, Rachel doesn't have the training, so although her opening night was amazing and all these raw emotions are coming, maybe she doesn't know how to capture the emotions over and over again. So we don't know what the longevity of the show will be.
Yeah, also we should mention Shirley MacLaine will be in the episode next week, which is so exciting, and it looks like she'll be doing a duet with Darren Criss, and I'm so excited about it.
Oh, neither of them are talented at all.
No
one ever.
Shirley MacLaine, she's just a legend in and of herself. So I think it's going to be such a fun performance and from her to watch.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited about it. We have a few more episodes to go. I think we're down to 5 more episodes now.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so more to come, and it'll be fun to see what happens in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us, and we will see you next week.
Where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me at Stephanie Wenger on Twitter.
You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
You can find me on Twitter at Sarah with an H Mendoza.
And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, Gleeks!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.